right, welcome back everybody to part two of my Nmap beginner series. Last time we discussed about what Nmap is and what it's used for generally, which is pretty much to find open ports or vulnerabilities on our target server. Today we're going to be talking about Nmap switches. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, and share this YouTube channel or video with anybody who might be interested in cybersecurity. I would really appreciate that. Like I said, today we'll be talking about switches, but with the next video series, we'll be talking about a different kind of scan types, and that's when I'm going to get into a little more details between the difference between intrusive and passive scans and things of that nature. But for now, we're just powering up our Kali Linux so I can show you some fun stuff. This is really where it gets interesting for me as far as Nmap, and pretty much if you continue to do more of these things, you get really comfortable with doing using the command line. I used to be really nervous about using like the command line, but now it's my baby. But anyway, let's wait for this to start up and we will jump right in. Okay. And you don't laugh at my name that I have on here. It's just a funny play. I just recently started like learning how to like bake, so that's just another thing I picked up during quarantine, baking and doing more cybersecurity stuff. So go figure. But yes, Obesque Bread is the name of my makeshift bakery. All right, and while we are loading up, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up Nmap. And pretty much switches are just like command arguments that tell Nmap what to do or send instructions. So if you're gonna log into or start off anything, you have to start off with Nmap as so. And a switch would be this -H, and this is really the command argument that is going to trigger a request to Nmap to pull up the help section. And there we go. Give me a second. So, like I said in the first video, you should treat this as your Nmap Bible, because to be fair, it has a lot of useful information. And for this video, we're really going to go through some of these. We're not going to go through all the switches. We're just going to go through a couple of these and test them out. We're going to be scanning for the most part. We're just going to be using the website provided to us by nmap.org, which is the scanme.nmap.org. In some other videos, again, I'll pull up the Metasploitable 2 that you can see over here, and we'll try some of them just see if we can just compare the different kind of results we get back. But let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the first switch. Let's look at scan techniques. And again, you have all these different switches over here. -s, that's for your stealth scans. And in fact, let's go into that. Before we begin, and like I said, the next video is when I'll really get into more details about exactly what kind of scan types you'd be doing on certain target servers. But just to give you a very quick rundown, what this -SS, this stealth scan, and the -ST exactly what they do. So the stealth scan is going to run what's called a 3 TCP handshake. Now this is when you're making connection with the server. So let's say our Kali Linux wants to make contact with our target server, which is the Nmap server. What it's going to do is going to send a packet to the Nmap server, and on that packet it's going to have what's called a send flag attached to it. Now the Nmap server is going to receive that, and then it's going to send another packet back to our Kali Linux server, and on this packet is going to have an acknowledgement flag saying, hey, I received that packet, and it's sending another send flag to try and connect. Now traditionally our server will now respond with another acknowledgement, sending it right back to the Nmap server. So that right there is the 3 TCP handshake. But if we run the -SS, which is the stealth scan, what it does is instead of our Kali Linux server sending another acknowledgement, it just resets itself as soon as it's received the SYNAC flag from the Nmap server. So that's exactly what it does. So just kind of like to make sure it wasn't there, because again, that's the really important thing about trying to run these vulnerability scans, is that you do not want to be discovered by firewall or anything that's protecting the server. So the longer you're on there making a lot of these scans, it's easiest for you to get noticed, and that's the one thing about Nmap. It's a noisy scanner. Pretty much, it can be detected by anybody who's watching over that particular network. But let's go ahead and jump into this. So we have this is a little. Let's actually clear this up a little bit. So we want to go ahead and run Nmap. So we run Nmap, and we want to run a stealth scan. Now, because I said again, this is a very noisy scanner, and the Nmap servers are pretty large. They have, I think, almost over 1,000 ports. So, because we don't want to spend all day doing this, and like I said, you want to gather information, but you want to be stealth with it. So, we'd go ahead and add this flag, the dash capital F flag. This is pretty much just fast. What Nmap is going to do, it's going to scan only, I believe, the first 100 ports to see if there's any port that's open. So, so we're doing that. So again, so we have Nmap dash stealth scan, which is going to connect to any open ports and send flags to it. And we're having dash fast, which is fast, which just scan the first 100, and then our target, which is scan me nmap.org, and let's see what we get. And you know what, I want to have some more details about what we get, so let's go ahead and put verb v, and dash v is verbose, just pretty much just give you some more details about the scans you run. All right, let's go ahead and scan this. Oops. Oh, silly me. So I need to put root privileges, so let's go ahead and put sudo on top of that, and this gives you root privileges. All right. Okay, so you see what's going on right now. Perfect. So we can see what's going on right now. It's been scanned. Notice, like I said, it's going to scan the first 100 ports, and out of the 100 ports, it gives you 98 filtered ports. What filtered means is that Nmap discovered that there's some ports there, but because of the responses they've gotten from the server, they can't tell if they're open or closed. So that's what filtered means. So if we look right here, we have two open ports. We have port 22, which is for SSH. We want to make SSH connections, and there's an HTTP server for hosting stuff like web pages, and that's in port 80. So again, and usually if we didn't put the verbose sign, we wouldn't get all this, not all this information. But as you can see, completed ping scan, it's gone ahead and made the connection with these open servers, and these servers we know we can go ahead. Let's say we have a vulnerability that is aimed for SSH servers. We do now know that this scammy.nmap.org has a port that is open where we can go ahead and run this vulnerability. So what we're gonna do is a pure aggression scan, and T4 is also related to is a time template. The default, and this is just how quickly the Nmap is going to perform certain scans. By default, I believe the time template is set to T3, but I want to make this fast, so let's just do T4. And to be honest as well, the faster the scan, sometimes the more unreliable your results might be. But again, we're just experimenting. So, and then we're doing dash A, which is an aggressive scan on this. And I want a little bit more detail like before. So dash V on scan me nmap.org. All right, let's try that. Now this is gonna take a while, and actually I should have possibly done the dash capital F, so that way we could just do the first 100 ports. Yeah, this is gonna take a while, so let's end that. Let's end that, and let's just edit this a little bit. Dash. I want to do an aggressive scan skill, but still just make it dash F. All right, let's try that now. So I believe it should still pull up just those two open ports from before, but let's go ahead and see. As you can see, it's completed a stealth scan here as well. And if I remember, it is going to combine with operating system detection as well. Perfect. So here we go. All right, so we have more information. The SSH port is open. Here now we have the version, and the operating system is Ubuntu Linux. There we go. Then we have the these are the hotkeys. Pretty much involves deals with cryptography right over here. We'll touch that later. And then when we look at the open ports for HTTP, There you go. You see it's running on Apache. That's the version. So let's say for whatever reason, let's say we have some kind of vulnerability for Apache for HTTP. If we have the right version number, we can make sure our vulnerability matches that. So let's say I have a vulnerability for HTTPD 2.38. I wouldn't be able to run that because this is it's running on the newest version. Now let's say I had a vulnerability for 2.47, then I could definitely use it on this particular port. And again, that's really just what these things are doing. It's just gathering information. As an ethical hacker, penetration testing, you need to get as much information as you can so you can customize some of these vulnerabilities to attack your server. All right, so we have that. Let's do one more before we get out of here. Now, let's clear this up a little bit. We want now with what we're pulling up is TCP protocols. And for TCP protocols, you have to make a connection with the server. That hence the sending the TCP packets out. Now, if you want to search for if the scanme.org has any UDP ports available, we can do that by going ahead and putting sudo nmap. And again, I want this fast. T4 dash small letter s capital U. Again, it's going to pull up all the UDP ports for scan me at nmap.org. Now, the reason why I'm not going with fast is that if we put the dash F and it's only doing the first 100, we might not catch all the UDP ports. So because I don't think there are that many UDP ports, I don't think the scan should take too long. So let's go ahead and try and run this. And I didn't put verbose because let's leave that for now. And haha, voila, here we go. So it didn't take that long because there are not that many UDP ports, but we do see at port 123 we have a UDP protocol open, and there are we will get into kind of vulnerabilities that can be used with this, but for now, just showing you again that we can go ahead and run this, and this is pretty fast, and it put up all the UDP ports as you can see right over here.